Hello, my name is Eduardo and today I am here with a new tutorial for Appybuilder, the gold version. Okay, this tutorial can be followed with Thunkable or with App Inventor. Okay, so don't worry. And also this is the part number 2. Okay, so please make sure you check part number 1. Okay, to have everything to get ready to work today. Well, today we're going to make this. Okay, so this is the final app. So we have, as you remember, English, Spanish, okay, for this HeadsUp game. So for example, if I select Spanish and then I go for this, I have the categories now with animals, occupations, or heroes. Okay, now I change the font, and I also if you check now, you have 2 different sounds now. I will show you what I mean. So you have a message, you finish the game because you have a certain number of words that you have to guess. So if I return, I am here, and then I'm going to take my phone right now, and then I'm going to put it in the over my head or something. Okay, then I select. Let's say that I guess, so I tilt my phone forward. I get a correct point, so it's different sound. If I don't guess the word, I just pass. I guess. I pass. I pass. I pass, tilting my phone backwards. Okay, so basically that is the idea. So you have to guess 7 words, and we are not repeating words. That is another thing. The list, it is not repeating itself. Okay, so that's good. And also, if I press here back, okay, the button, the back, what's the name? Okay, well, back screen or something. Okay, in your phone, instead of menu, I return here to the original menu, and I can select this thing, and then we need to fix this part. That is, if you see, we have the same names in Spanish that we need to fix. Okay, but this is just something that we are going to make at the end. So then you have this English, and basically that is the idea. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So let's start with the tutorial here. So I guess I'm going to hide my screen right now. Okay, so I'm not going to use it right now. I guess it is not necessary. So, but if we have something interesting, I will show you that. Well, anyway. So, well, the first thing that we're going to do, okay, it is to go to the blocks. So now here in the blocks, we're going to start like modifying things. So the first thing, we're going to check the initialize. We are here. Now, something that I didn't do in the previous tutorial is that we created the procedures to resize the fonts. Okay, the fonts for the words label and for the buttons, but we didn't use it because we just created the procedure and we didn't load the procedures. So in this case, the first thing is just to load these procedures. We go to procedures and Resize Fonts, and we put it over here. So when we start the game, we're going to be like, we have a Resize font thing, and this is good because you are going to have the same aspect in different devices, or almost all the devices. Well, I created a variable, okay, that it's called game score. So we're going to create a variable. So remember, you go here and create variable and just name it game score and set it to 0. I also created another variable. Here again, create the variable and write the name to words to guess, 7. So 7 words to guess per each turn. Okay, so that's it. I guess it is enough just for this example. Also, we're going to create another variable, and this variable, it will be a name current language, and we're going to set it to 1. Also, we are going to add a comment, and in this comment we're going to write, just to remember, 1 equals English, and 2 equals Spanish or any other language that you want to use. Okay, so in this case, we're going to use just 2 languages. English and Spanish is number 2. Okay, so the default is English. Okay, or we can set it to 0, and when we start the game, okay, so we set everything, but I guess it's okay with this. Now, we're going to create a temporary list because we were using in the past the TinyDB, but today we're going to make something, okay, to avoid have this kind of the same items like they are repeating. For example, you have to guess president, and then you tilt the font, and again you have president. Okay, so we don't want to have repetitive items. Okay, so we're going to call this temporary category list, and we're going to set this to an empty list. We're going to use this for the list. Okay, now what's next? The next thing that we need, it is we're going to use another list. Okay, so we're going to create another list, and if you remember, we have 3 buttons here in categories that they have the name in English. So we want to change these names. Okay, so we can do it individually, but it's not very practical when you have more than 1 language. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make it easier. Okay, but I guess that it's for me. Now we're going to create here categories Spanish. So the name of the categories, and we're going to call them in the same order as we have it: animals, jobs, and heroes, but in Spanish. So animales, comma, we're going to modify something over there. Just give me a second. Animales, ocupaciones, that is jobs, and finally héroes. That is, I guess, the same. Now, this is not a list. To create a list, we're going to go to list, and we're going to create a list from the raw text. Okay, list from CSV raw text. Just use commas to separate your items, okay, from your list. Now you have the list. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, okay, it is to create another list. This list is to work with this, with the categories, okay, to change the Spanish. So we're going to select here variables, initialize another one, and we're going to call it, okay, buttons list, and let's add component just to remember. So we are going to set this to an empty list, so we're not to add anything right now, and then we're going to create a procedure, okay, to fill this empty list, the button list component. This is the first thing, because we're going to make it to change the names. Okay, so you will see what it's going to happen. So first, we're going to create a procedure. We are going to call it create button category component. I know it's long, but it is just to be really clear for us. Now, then in list, we're going to add here the elements of this list. Okay, in this procedure, we're going to add 2 items, and we are going to, in which list you are going to add these items? Well, in this one, in buttons list. Which items? You are going to pick the first button, button animals, and you're going to go to the bottom. Okay, at the end you have this little block that is button animals. You drag it, then you Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and you paste it, and then you just change this to jobs, that is the second one, and then Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then we're going to change this to the last one, that is heroes. Okay, so you have this list of buttons. Now, to select the names. Okay, right now we are just creating the procedures. Okay, just to load when we pick Spanish to change the names from the three buttons at the same time. Now we're going to create here a local variable in a new procedure. This procedure, it will be Spanish buttons. This variable, it will be index list, and we're going to set this variable to 0. That's it. Then we're going to set the index list. We're going to use a block here that it's very useful when you are going to manage a list. Okay, in this case we're going to manage this list that it's called for each. So I have a video also where I explain for each. Okay, so I guess it's very useful if you don't know very well this thing. So now we're going to rename this item for button. So for each button, these buttons in this list. Okay, so this list, we're going to duplicate this. We are going to check something. We are going to add a different number. But first we're going to create a condition. For each button, okay, if first we are going to check if the index, this temporary index, it is less than the length of this list, global categories. So from this list, remember, the length is 3. Okay, duplicate. Oh, not this part, sorry. The list. This one. So if this number, it is less, so at the beginning is 0, so that is true at the beginning. So then what we are going to do? Well, we are going to we're going to increase, right? So let's do it like that. Let's go here and then we're going to select set. We're going to set this index that is at the beginning it's 0, so index list, and we're going to increase this value plus 1. So the same value plus 1, 1, 1. Okay, so that means that when we start this thing to run this procedure, the first value it will be 1. Okay, then we're going to change the name of the buttons. We are going to use here, if you check we have any component, we go to the button and we check any button, and we're going to look for the text property. We're going to set the button text off. We're going to drag here button, and we're going to use here, we're going to select from the list. Which list? The list with the names. Okay, so from the list with the names, select list item. Which list? Well, the list that it has the names of all the buttons in Spanish, and we are going to use the current index, and that's it. That it will do the trick. Now we need another in this case another procedure to work with the language. Okay, so this procedure, it will be this one. Sorry if I'm going so fast. Okay, so sometimes I do that, but sometimes tutorials take too much. But we are going to load this. We are going to use this in a button. Okay, so what is the idea? When we press the Spanish button, we are going to load, obviously, the load Spanish, okay, or the Spanish buttons. This one, Spanish buttons, is this procedure. We're going to assign names in Spanish to the different buttons at the same time. Then, if you remember, we have horizontal arrangements to organize everything, and this is an idea to avoid the usage of different screens. Okay, so it is better to use in this case horizontal arrangements, okay, to save some space in your app. Now we're going to use horizontal languages, okay, this one, and we're going to look for the visible property. So, and we're going to hide the language, the languages, so you don't have that options, and then you are going to appear the categories now with the Spanish names. Okay, so now this one, and we're going to set it to true. Okay, so basically that it will do the trick. Now we need to load, okay, we need to load this procedure. Okay, so remember it's load Spanish, and load Spanish, it will go in I guess we're going to use it in the first one. Okay, so we're going to look for the place to organize this. So let's go here, and if you remember, we have button English. Okay, so we load English, and then we need another button that it says like button Spanish, so that it will be the one that it's going to load the procedures for the Spanish. Okay. Sorry guys, it's because it is quite cold in here. Well, so let's add this. So we have Spanish, and then we need English. So here let's check English button Spanish, click, and then we are going to drag it in here. Then we look for the procedure, load Spanish, and that's it. So that will maybe help us. So let's use this one, and well, we're here. Okay, well, if you check, we have now the font that is Resize, and if we press Spanish, check, it is not changing the names, okay, to Spanish. Why? Because we forgot one thing, or I forgot one thing. This thing, it is to go here, and in Resize Fonts, we need to load the create button category component. That is this one. Okay, so we need to fill the list, because if not, the list was empty. Now we just refresh the screen. I like to refresh the screen using the about screen. Then we just wait a little bit, and then if we press Spanish, we have animales, ocupaciones, héroes. Okay, so basically that is the first part that we did. So now let's continue, because we have too many things to do. Okay, we return to Spanish, and when we're in Spanish, when we press this button, that is the Spanish thing that it's in here. Also, we need to tell the program or the game or App Inventor or Appybuilder that we have changed to Spanish. In that case, we are going to set this variable. Remember, we create the language, current language, and we are going to set it to, in Spanish, we are going to set it to 2. That is the value that we assign. And if it's English, we know that is the default, but just in case, we are just going to set it to 1. Okay. Now, so we have this thing. What is next? Well, next it is that we need to modify some other. Okay, so we need to add here to change the categories, because now English we have lion, dog, cat, but we don't have the categories in Spanish. So we're going to create a condition, and we don't have the heroes category that we didn't create, so we can create that. And we go for heroes, we add it, and we just rename here with Hulk, Superman, Doctor Strange, I don't know, Goku, maybe Iron Man, Thor, Thor, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Robin, Batgirl, Wonder Woman, etc, 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 etc. Okay, then we need to tell the program that we are in English or we are in Spanish. To do that, we're going to create a condition. Okay, so there is a condition that we're going to repeat. So the idea is that if we are, and we are going to use this, if we are in language 1, okay, if the current language is 1, so let's use here the value 1. Okay, so we're going to do what? Well, we're going to play the categories in English or the categories in Spanish. So we're going to use here else if the category is not 1, so that means that if the category is another, that in this case the another one is Spanish, well, we're going to run the Spanish procedure. So basically that is the idea. So we can add this into here in every button. So we're going to go here. Let's move just these guys here. So if the current language equals to 1, so we're going to play this category with the buttons animals. Okay, else, that means that if it's not 1, that means that is the Spanish thing. Let's use some Spanish names. For example, león, tigre, pantera, perico, burro, zorro, iguana, tortuga, oso polar, and ballena, tiburón. Do you know all these animals in Spanish? Well, that is the idea. Okay, so then we are going to do the same with the others. Okay, so we can duplicate this one 2 times, and we're going to insert this, and we're going to just delete this and add, for example, for heroes we add it here, and for the other one we just add it here. Okay, now we just need to fill with the correct names. Okay, for example, for jobs we are done, and for Spanish we need doctor, teacher, poet. But this is Spanish, sorry. Maestro, poeta, policía, secretaria, conductor, taquero, he sells tacos, futbolista, tenista, abogado, lawyer, etc, etc, etc. And for the heroes, well, they are pretty much the same in Spanish, some of them. Okay, so we just duplicate Hulk, Superman, Doctor Strange, Goku, Iron Man, Thor, Spider-Man, similar, Wonder Woman. Well, in Spanish some people say Mujer Maravilla, Batichica, Ant-Man. It is Ant-Man, but we can call it Hombre Hormiga. That's it. So we have Spanish, we have English, and that's it. When we press, we have the different category depending on what we are using. Now we go for designer, we are going to refresh, and let's see what we have so far. We refresh the screen, and then we just go, we check, I press Spanish, let's go for ocupaciones, we have secretariat, and then if we just tilt the phone forward, we change to doctor, poeta, policía, etc, etc, etc. Now if we need to refresh this because we don't have game over, so let's set it 27. Then we go here, English, let's go again for jobs, YouTuber, doctor, teacher, tuber, and it's repeating, check. Some of them are repeating, so we're going to avoid that. Okay, so we need to eliminate that thing, but so far it's okay. It's looking quite good. So now, what we need now, it is to, let's go for this. We have the buttons, we have the language, and then we need to fix another thing here. For example, when we play the category, when we're playing here, so we have something very simple. We need a limit. We need to create a game over thing, okay, that I just created, okay, before we started the video. But it's basically this idea. You create a procedure, and then in this procedure call it game over. And then you're going to set, remember that we created a variable that is global words to guess. So at the beginning, the variable, it is set to 7. So if this words to guess, it is less than 7, okay, we're going to call the game over, but that is not like correct in this case. So if global words to guess, it is less than 0. So we're going to display this message. Now, how to do that? Well, here, every time we are tilting the phone forward, we are going to subtract 1 from this variable. So we are going to set this variable here, the variable that is words to guess minus 1. So we duplicate this one. This is just to stop the game after 7 words, okay? So global words minus 1. That's it, okay? And we're going to stop the game, and we're going to display this message that is game over. But that is not all. When we set the game over, we need to change everything again. Okay, so what if we are in Spanish or we are in English? Okay, so we need a different message. So we're going to use another condition. We're going to set it in here, and we're going to use here, we're going to detect if the language, also we're going to remove this just for a little bit. If language it's equals to 1, so it is in English. So we are going to what? We're going to use this, okay? We're going to use, I'm going to explain you why I am using this in another part. First, need this, okay? So when it's English, we're going to display a message in the text, label words text, but we're going to display a long message. And also we can change the font. To change the font for this, because it's more information, we can reduce the size of the font, okay, for the label words. So we go for label words, sorry. So here label word, set text size, background. So we're using the percentage over there. So let's use this one, font size. I got confused because I haven't used this font size. And we're going to use this. You can use the percentage, that it's quite the same right now. But we're going to use it here at the beginning. Now we check if the message is English. If it's English, we're going to display game over. We're going to give a space. Well, space, and we're going to use this symbol. Let me check. This one. And then we're going to use, I don't know if the name is, I don't remember the name in English for this, but well, we use this symbol that is going to give you a break, okay? So here, game over, and then under game over, I will display the score. So we're going to use another one, that is score. Also, I forgot to give the aspect. Let's give it to 16. Then the score, and after the score we add another one that is for the variable score. So in this case we use score. It is very important that you give a space, and finally probably we add another one that it says points, space, points, and then you will have your English message. Okay, now what about the Spanish? Well, if, then we use the else. So if not one, okay, if you are in a different language, in this case that is Spanish, we're going to duplicate this one and we just translate. Okay, we can use fin del juego, then score, marcador, and then puntos, and that's it. Okay, we're going to have this message display. Now, because this is game over, we need to refresh the variables. Okay, so in this case we're going to refresh the variable here. We're going to set the game score to 0 again. Sorry, 0. And also we are going to refresh the words to guess. We did that, but words to guess again to 7. Now, if you remember here in the words to guess, in the when we move the phone forward, so we are doing this, okay, every time. But we're going to do this procedure only if, okay, we're going to tilt the font only if this value, the global words to guess, it is bigger than 0. Okay, it is very important. So if this word it is bigger than 0, we are going to tilt the font, or we are going to be able to tilt the font. Now, what happens if this value it is not bigger or more than 0? Well, we are going to run the game over procedure, the one that we just created. We're going to display the message, and also we're going to disable the accelerometer, false. We're not going to move again this accelerometer. And also we need to return. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. So let's go here to designer. Let's refresh the screen and let's see what is happening. I'm going to take my phone. Okay, so let's go to English. Then we start with jobs. I start with farmer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Game over. Score 0 points. Well, we are not increasing points, I guess. I forgot that thing. We're going to check. But if you check, we have the message. Now, let's go just to fix the points. I am subtracting here, but not adding points. So to do that, we're going to go here. Sorry. And under global words to guess, we're going to use game score and we're going to add 1 to the current one. So let's change this to points. We'll go global game score. Let's set to 1. And let's go here. Now make sure in here you have 0 again. So yes, that's it. Now, as I show you, here we stop. Now, how can we return to the game? Well, I guess a good idea is to add here a button just to say, you know, return, okay, or back to the menu with the categories. Okay, so now to do that, we're going to go to the designer and here in the let's drag it in here. Yes, that's it. That did the trick. Okay, well, let's set everything to the default. We're going to hide languages, categories. It is hide. These ones are okay. Horizontal arrangement game, it is invisible. Horizontal arrangement, this one, and this is visible. This guy has to be invisible at the beginning. And we are going to rename it to restart button. So the restart button, it is that one. So we play again with that button. So the text, it can be menu. So it is the same Spanish, English, so no problem. Now, when we finish, okay, we are in game over. So here, we're going to make visible this button. So the restart. So we're going to make it visible. So we go for visible and we're going to set it to true. That's it. Now the button, it will appear now. What is this button going to do? Well, basically, the thing that it's going to do, this button, first, it's disappear itself. Okay, so we just want it for a moment. Now it's going to disappear itself. False. And it's starting again. Okay, so we are in the game layout. So we are going to make this layout invisible to false. And we are going to make the categories visible again. True. I guess that's the idea with this beautiful button. So we can add this thing into a procedure also. Okay, so if you want. And also remember that we modify the text size, the font size. So we can just return to the original that it was something to 30. So we're going to set it to 30 again. We duplicate this one and we just drag it here. So that's it. That is the thing that this button it's going to do. You can insert this into a procedure if you want to have the blocks organized. Okay, so here you can call it restart button procedure, and we just drag all of these guys here and we just call it using this one, restart, and we just move it here near to the button if you want, or with the other procedures. In this case I'm going to leave it with the other buttons. And now let's refresh the screen. Let's change this, refresh the screen here, just making some changes. Then we go to companion. We check now English again. Let's go for animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, and 7 is the one. Okay, so you have 7 points, and then you have the option to return. Then you return, and you return to this. Okay, that's it. Now we go here, and it's okay. Now, what happens if you want to return to the original language? Well, you can use back. Okay, the button back or back press, and we can go here and we can go for back press. So we go for the initialize near to that one. So here, and let's add here in screen 1, we look for back press, and for back press it is returning to the original menu. Okay, so when we return to the original menu, that means that we are going to for example, if we press this, we are going to hide, for example, this button. If this button is visible, we are going to make it invisible, false. They want to restart. Also, we are going to set the variables. The variable current language, we're going to set it to 0, because in that case we are going to be just like trying to select language. Then we are going to set the score to 0 again. And let me check which is the other one that we need to reset. Words to guess. We're going to reset this to 7. That's it. Also, we need to disable the accelerometer. If we are pressing this button while we are playing, we have to disable the accelerometer. False. Yeah, false. So we disable the accelerometer, and also we need to make this layer or this horizontal arrangement invisible. The game horizontal arrangement to invisible, that is false. Let's set it here. The categories, it stays the same, invisible, but the language, it has to be now visible. Horizontal arrangement languages to true, and then we return. So now if we go here and we press back, we return. Now check, buttons are not, because I didn't disappear them, so it is necessary to disappear, because if we are not there, categories, false, do it, so we disappear them. So let's check it again. Occupations, we have here with till 1, with till 2, with till 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, anyway, so if you check over there, we don't have the space. Okay, so we can fix that right now. So let's fix little by little these things. Marcador, space, puntos, space. That's it. And if I press here back, we return to this. So if I go to English, occupations, then I tilt doctor. If you check, the font now is reduced. We need to fix that. What if I want to return here? Yes, I return. I change to Spanish. Pasiones. Policía. I return. That's it. Now we need to set the font. Okay, so I guess the font, it will be like here. So we have to make sure that when we press this button, okay, the back, so we just set the font again to the original one. We can use call Resize Fonts, or we can use this one, duplicate, just for the words or the messages. Okay, basically that is the idea. So if I press here, if I go here, and then we have the font. I guess that looks pretty good. So we are almost like done. No, not really. So we have, this is a very long video, but another thing that it will help your game to look better. Well, if you remember, you have the option here in Appybuilder Gold or in Thunkable to upload a custom font. Okay, so in this case we go to Game, Label Words, and then we're going to check Font, Typeface, Custom. I'm going to use a font. There is a one that I like a lot. That is this one. I'm going to use this one. We're going to upload. We just wait a little bit. And then we change here to Spanish, occupations, and check. It looks very cool. Then we just flip the font and that things, okay? Lawyer, taquero, maestro, etc., etc. And that's it. Now guys, we're here, and if you check, the list is repeating. Okay, sometimes you have teacher again, teacher again, that it's not very fun, that it's not very good. So we need to make something to avoid that mistake. Okay, to do that, we're going to use our temporary list. So we look for the temporary list, okay, and we're going to change this, okay. When we start, let's return to here to play category. What is happening here? When we play the category, we are using the TinyDB to store the current list. The current list, it is played here, and that's it. That's pretty good. Now, what it's important to do right now, it is to use, instead of the TinyDB here, we can use the TinyDB, it's not necessary right now, but we are going to use here the variable that is the list that we just created. So we go here to play, and we're going to go for global temporary category list. Okay, and we're going to empty this list just in case it is filled with something. We're going to empty this. Then we are going to duplicate this, and under this we are just going to copy the list that we just created, this list in the TinyDB. So we're going to say copy list, which list? Well, I want to copy the TinyDB or the current TinyDB list. So we go here, get value from the TinyDB. The tag, remember, it is current, duplicate, and that's it. Now the label words, now it is not going to pick a random item from the TinyDB, because to avoid repetitions, we're going to remove the current one, the current item that is displayed on the word label words. Okay, so now we're going to pick from the list that we just created, temporary list, and that's it. Now our list is not going to repeat right now, yes, but it has now, the temporary list is filled with this TinyDB. Okay, okay, well, now we go and we are going to remove the items. To remove the items, we're going to make some adjustments here, and we're going to create a new procedure. So we're going to put it in here. This procedure, it will be called next word. So the next word that we're going to load. So to do that, for the next word, we're going to use from the previous the accelerometer things that we have here, the instructions. We're going to drag some things. This one, we're going to use this. What is the idea? Check. You have next word. We're going to play this thing and we're going to modify this, but the idea is that we're going to move forward, okay? And we're going to increase the points. We are going to subtract 1 to the total number of words to guess. Then we disable the accelerometer. We activate the clock that disables the accelerometer for a moment, or enables the accelerometer again. And we pick another word. So now we are going to remove again, as we did in the other one, and we're going to use the temporary list. Temporary list. Temporary category list. We're going to take it from this list when we pass to the next word, and we're going to remove the current word. Okay, so it is very important that. So so the idea is to remove. Okay, so we're going to remove list, remove, and we're going to remove from this list the current one. So we're going to get the current word that is displayed. So we're going to say list item, pick a random index, which is the index of the word that is displayed, in this case displayed in the label of the game in this list, and remove it. That's it. Basically that is this procedure. Then we are going to use this procedure here in next word. Okay, so now what else? This is when we tilt the form forward, but what about when we tilt the form backwards? Let's suppose that we don't guess the word and we cannot guess the word. So, and we want to pass to the next word, but without getting a point. So well, in that case, we're going to use here another else if. And we're going to duplicate this one and the Excel. Now to check it, when we tilt the form backwards, it will change to +8. And we're going to set if this is bigger or more than +8, then we're going to use the next word again, because we don't want to repeat everything. But in this case, instead of adding 1 point, we are going to add here, and we are going to set this to point, and we are going to insert this in the point. Instead of 1, we're going to use that. And now check, we have this slot here. When it's forward, we want an extra point. When it's backwards, we are going to use 0. So we are not adding any point to this guy. Okay? Oh, we need to restart the companion as usual, but don't worry. So I guess that it's the main thing. So now we need to check if this thing is working. So let me just refresh this and let me connect my companion. And also we can add some sounds right now. So let's add the sounds, but just give me a second. Well, for the sounds, I use the VFXR. Okay, it is a line 8-bit sounds maker. I will give you the link in the description. Okay, so check it, download it, and you can add your sounds. It's pretty convenient when you're making these apps. GHIP. So let's wait for that. Now let's go here and let's upload file. Then let's go to SFX 8-bit, and I have incorrect. Let me just rename this to correct. I have correct, select, and incorrect. Correct. So I upload correct. Then I'm going to upload incorrect. And then finally, I'm going to upload select. And that's it. So we have all of these beautiful sounds over there. And now let's check if this is working. If not, we have to continue, because sometimes my internet is not very fast. So RTFFXJ. Well, let's wait for companion to be in a good mood. So well, it is not really happy companion right now. Yes, it is happy right now. Check. So what we did, so we have Spanish, let's say animales, burro. I tilt my phone forward, 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 backwards, 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 and I have 3 points. Okay, so that is the idea. Now we need to check if we are not repeating these things. Superman, Hulk, Thor, backwards, backwards, backwards. Okay, end of the game. Again, animals. Here, 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 backwards, backwards, backwards. And you have 5 points. Okay, I guess it's pretty good so far. Okay, so what we are missing right now, I guess we can add something about the sounds. Okay, well, to add the sounds, let's create a procedure and let's call it sounds or play sounds. Play sounds. Now to play the sounds, we are going to go to the designer. We are going to go to media, sound. We set this to 100. Then source, don't worry about the source because we are going to do in the procedure. We look for sound 1, set the source, and we set the source to a variable. So let's say sound. We just set it here and we just drag it because we're going to change it depending on the button. So we're going to stop any sound that it's playing when we play this button, and then we're going to play it. So play, that's it. So this is the procedure. We are going to call this procedure, for example, here. The correct one is this one. So we're going to use the procedure and we're going to play sound. And we're going to call the source. It is correct dot or point WAV. It is dot correct. The extension is WAV, and that's it. What about the incorrect? Well, it is incorrect. Incorrect WAV. WAV, WAV. In that case, the user it will know if it's correct or incorrect. Jobs. Let's say forward. Let me just forward, forward, backwards, 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 and that's it. Okay, so you have that then, the points, and then for example, let's add just for the interface, let's use another buttons, Spanish buttons, initialize, blah 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 blah, screen initialize, back press. When you press this thing, probably you can use again this procedure, sound, and you can use select. Just call it select. That is the name of my file. Oh, sorry. Well, and that's it. I'm going to duplicate this one because I think I'm going to use it here in the other buttons. In this one. In this one. Duplicate. In this one. Let me move this. Let me move this. And in this one. Play sounds, play sounds, play sound. And finally in this one, the button heroes. And also in the restart. Or we can use another one, but let's use the incorrect one when you return incorrect. Well, that's it. And now if you check, you have animals. You started cow, dog, that's it. Then you go here, farmer, nurse, and that's it. Okay, so well, basically that is the idea. I guess for today it's enough, okay, because we have seen a lot. Okay, you can make the font bigger. I guess that's a lot for today. This tutorial, it was quite long, okay, but you have so far your game. So if I press back here, probably here we need close the app button. Okay, so that's pretty simple. So because we're using back for returning to the menu, so I guess that a good idea it will be to add here a button just to finish everything. Close, so close app, close app, and the close app button, it will be pretty simple, just like to close here. When we click this button, we can use this condition if it's true that we press this button. It is not necessary in this case, but what we just close the application, and that's it. You close the app. Okay, so well, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Okay, you can make more things with this, but I guess it's okay. So you can add here another language, so you just add another variable, okay, and just check the conditions. Okay, so for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any language that you want to have, your list. Okay, so you tilt here, for example, it's not changing at the beginning, so you need to fix some little things, okay, because you have the current value. But I guess you can pretty much guess more of these things. Okay, so please, if you like this video or these tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, that will help me a lot. Okay, please share the video with someone who's learning App Inventor just like me. Okay, if you have any problems, questions, please just let me know them. Okay, yeah, write in the comments, it's okay, or you can check my email, that it's acatotl@gmail.com. okay, sometimes I don't have too much time, but I will try to help you as much as possible. Okay, my name is Eduardo. and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching this.